There are some things smart men, stoic men, simply do not do when it comes to women. Not out of pride, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity, self-respect, and wisdom. In a world of noise, temptation, and emotional chaos, these men stand apart, not because they don't feel, but because they understand. They understand what truly matters. Section 1. Never chase validation. The first thing a stoic man refuses to do is chase validation. In today's world where attention is currency and social media floods us with dopamine triggers, it's easy to fall into the trap of needing external approval to feel worthy. But the stoic man understands that the moment you depend on someone else for your sense of worth, you've handed over your freedom. He doesn't bombard her with texts or obsess over when she was last online. He doesn't let his emotions rise and fall based on whether she liked his photo or responded to a message, because his self-worth is rooted not in her recognition, but in his character. He knows validation is addictive, but it's hollow. The more you chase it, the more it eludes you. So, he breaks the cycle. He goes inward, finding his value in discipline, progress, and purpose. He isn't driven by compliments or crushed by silence. The Stoic doesn't need someone else to remind him of his worth. He's already done that for himself. Section 2. Never lose self-control. Self-control is the essence of Stoic discipline. A smart man never lets his emotions dictate his actions, especially in the heat of a romantic conflict. When emotions flare and tempers rise, the average man reacts. He raises his voice, throws insults, tries to win the argument at any cost. But the Stoic man, he does something powerful. He pauses. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Instead of lashing out, the Stoic man listens. He observes. He asks himself, is this reaction worthy of me? Because he knows that true strength isn't in domination, it's in restraint. She may push his buttons. She may say things meant to hurt. But he remains calm, composed, not because he's weak, but because he refuses to give someone else control over his state of mind. When you master your emotions, you master your destiny. The Stoic man doesn't seek to win petty battles. He seeks to win peace. Section 3. Never sacrifice purpose for pleasure. Purpose is sacred, and a Stoic man guards his purpose above all else. In the modern world, distractions are everywhere. Relationships can bring joy, but they can also derail a man from his mission if he isn't careful. A Stoic knows that short-term pleasure should never come at the cost of long-term fulfillment. How many men lose themselves in the pursuit of fleeting validation? They skip their workouts, stop writing their book, abandon their goals, all for someone who may not even be there tomorrow. That's not love. That's misalignment. Seneca warned us, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." A woman should complement your path, not become your path. If she supports your mission, she belongs in your life. But if she becomes the mission, you've lost your way. A Stoic man knows how to prioritize. He knows that what he builds in silence will echo longer than what he gains through distraction. Section 4. Never tolerate disrespect. A Stoic man understands this universal law. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Disrespect, whether loud or subtle, is never acceptable. Not because of ego, but because of principle. If a woman mocks you, belittles you, or constantly crosses your boundaries, a Stoic man doesn't plead for better treatment. He doesn't argue to prove his worth. He simply walks away. He knows his energy is sacred. He knows his time and attention are currency, and he will not invest them in a place where he is not respected. Disrespect isn't always screaming or yelling. It can be eye rolls, sarcasm, dismissive tones, and every time you accept it in silence, you lower your own value. A Stoic doesn't demand respect. He commands it through his presence, and if it's not given, he doesn't fight. He removes himself, because peace is more important than pride, and self-respect is more powerful than approval. Section 5. Never lose sight of your values. A man without values is a ship without a compass. The Stoic man, however, knows his direction. He lives by a code: discipline, loyalty, honesty. These are not just words to him. They're the pillars of his identity. In relationships, there will always be pressure to bend just a little, to compromise, to let things slide. But the smart man knows once you start making small exceptions, you begin eroding your own character. Epictetus' quote appears, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." If you value honesty, don't tolerate lies. If you value discipline, don't let comfort pull you off your path. Your values are your boundaries. They protect your peace. A Stoic man doesn't change who he is to fit into someone else's story. He lives his truth and invites others to walk beside him, not lead him astray. When you honor your code, you attract those who respect it. When you abandon it, you attract chaos. Section 6. Never confuse attention for affection. One of the quietest traps men fall into is mistaking attention for affection. The Stoic man understands that attention is often just a spark, not a flame. A woman's interest, her compliments, or even flirtation doesn't always signal deep care. Many men become emotionally invested too quickly, misinterpreting politeness or friendliness as romantic intent. This leads to unnecessary heartbreak and disappointment. The Stoic man, however, remains grounded. He evaluates intentions through actions, not just words. Real affection reveals itself through consistency, effort, respect, not emojis and playful banter. He doesn't chase shadows. He seeks clarity. He knows that presence means more than performance. The Stoic man chooses depth over drama. Section 7. Never try to fix her. A common mistake many well-meaning men make is believing they can fix a woman. They see her pain, her past, her chaos, and try to become her savior. But the Stoic man knows you cannot heal someone who refuses to heal themselves. It's noble to care. It's powerful to support. But it's dangerous to tie your peace to someone else's storms. The Stoic man doesn't project potential. He accepts reality. He encourages growth but never forces it. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't hanker after what you don't have. Instead, fix your attentions on the finest and best that you have. Focus on your own growth. Let others rise or fall on their own journey." Section 8. Never neglect your inner world. The Stoic man guards his mind as a warrior guards a fortress. He tends to his inner world with the same devotion he gives to his physical strength or career. Many men lose themselves in relationships because they've never truly met themselves. They seek wholeness in someone else because they've avoided silence within. But wisdom lives in solitude, in reflection, in that sacred space where no one's opinion matters but your own. Daily reflection, journaling, meditation. These aren't luxuries. They're essentials. A man who knows himself cannot be manipulated, shaken, or lost. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Silence reveals the truth. Section 9. Never stay where you're not growing. Comfort can be a prison. A Stoic man understands that familiarity without growth is decay. Just because she's been in your life for a long time doesn't mean she belongs in your future. If you're not evolving together, it's time to question the purpose of staying. The Stoic man values progress. He seeks truth even when it hurts. He doesn't fear solitude. He fears stagnation. He knows that leaving isn't always loss. It's often liberation. Growth is painful. So is change. But nothing is more painful than staying somewhere you've outgrown in love, in life. In every interaction, the Stoic man remains firm, calm, grounded. He leads with wisdom, not impulse. He chooses character over comfort, purpose over pleasure, growth over stagnation. These aren't rules meant to isolate you. They are reminders to protect you, to elevate you. In a world that rewards noise, be the calm. In a world chasing attention, be intentional. In a world full of chaos, be the one who leads with clarity. If this video spoke to something within you, share it. Comment with which lesson hit hardest. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to fuel your growth. Stand firm, think deeply, and walk the path few dare to take. That's the Stoic way.